Out of all the Japanese manga and anime I've ever seen, One Piece is special to me. When most people think of One Piece, they think of all of the emotion they feel through all of the various arcs, the voice acting, the animation, all of the villains. When you think of One Piece, what normally comes to mind is all of the wacky characters and the amazing devil fruit powers, and even the haki used throughout the series. Shameless plug, but check out my other video. But today, you are all in for a treat as we're going to reject everything I just talked about, and we're going to be focusing on the guns. No, not those guns, Luffy. Quit flexing on everybody. Of course, I'm actually referring to the manipulation of firearms seen throughout the series. Any type of guns, ordnance, pyrotechnics, explosives, we're going to be covering them today. All of the firearms in the series are definitely overshadowed because of all the devil fruit powers and the haki use. So I'm going to be covering all of these in chronological order, so the earliest weapons that we see in the timescale to the end of the series. But without further ado, thanks for tuning in to Nessie's Anime Tour, and let's get the video started. So starting off, we have the Shellstown arc with Captain Morgan himself. And of course, we get to see the average Marine with a bunch of different rifles, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. That's not very exceptional. No, we're here to talk about good old Helmepo, excuse me. I mean, this character would be entirely too forgettable if it weren't for one thing he does. So here we have Helmepo holding a nice little pistol. Maybe it's a SIG, maybe it's a Glock, maybe it's a Beretta. Who cares? It's a pistol. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the lovely people at 4Kids Animation, but they created one of the most deadly weapons of all time. I swear to God, I think this thing is the fourth ancient weapon in One Piece, but we're gonna get into it in a minute. So I can't even adequately express what this weapon is supposed to be. I don't know what the animators were thinking, so I'm just gonna play the clip and let you enjoy.
Yeah? One more punch and say goodbye to your friend! I'll pummel his head flatter than the shape of the earth!
Mr. Helmepo!
I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I've been trying to record this for a couple minutes and not laugh, and I just can't help it but... Okay guys, I'm sorry, I'm done laughing. I've collected myself. We are ready to talk about this beautiful masterpiece of a weapon. Also, did my man Helmepo say that he was a flat earther? Is this confirmed, Oda? Helmepo flat earther? No, but this was just an entirely bad edit. This weapon is super impractical. I don't even want to begin to explain how this thing would work as far as you pull the trigger and the spring goes off with the hammer and it hits Kobe in the head. I mean, hey Kobe, I don't know if you know this, man, but I think you could walk like 3 feet to the left and I think you'd be clear of this thing, not hitting you. I don't think this hammer gun has a lot of range on it, buddy. But again, this is just an infamously bad edit done by the 4Kids production. I just wanted to make it known because it's such a crazy scene in the anime. But now we are moving on. So again, I've definitely compiled a list here of all of the, some of the pre-time skip era characters and their marksmanship abilities. So obviously we had Yassop, Geen, Don Krieg. I mean, a lot of these people just use guns. We don't know the make, model, and caliber of the weapons they're using, but I figured it was definitely important to list all of these regardless. And again, I think it's understated. I mean, the importance of weapons in the series. A good pistol can kill anybody. That applies for our real world and obviously the One Piece world. I don't even think people remember necessarily that Arlong kills Bellemere with a freaking pistol. And it's just kind of crazy to go back and take a look at this, especially nowadays, because half of these weapons can be negated with simple devil fruit abilities or even using armament haki potentially. But again, Bellemere, a very important character, got killed with a pistol in the early days of One Piece. Oh boy, now we're getting to one of my favorite characters in the entire series, Van Auger of the Blackbeard Pirates. So I'm going to make the claim right here, right now, that he probably has one of the best observation haki abilities in the entire series that we've seen so far. And yes, I have evidence and his feats to back this claim up. So again, this man is an expert shot, quite the marksman, a real good sniper, and he wields a rifle called Senriku, which literally translates to 1,000 lands. Okay, so right here we have Van Auger's most well-known scene in the series. So at first it seems like a normal day. Chopper's smiling, God Usopp hanging out, seagulls start raining from the sky. Oh, and I can hear the comment section already. Oh, Shane, who cares? Van Auger shot a couple birds. Regular hunters do that shit every day. Well, when you realize the fact that there was no fucking land in sight, that kinda changes the entire situation. So I just need to re-emphasize and reiterate this point, because normally when you're out at sea, you have a range of 10 nautical miles that you can see, and the Straw Hats, mind you, they can't even see land at this point. So this means that Van Auger had to have shot these seagulls from ridiculously far away. This is absolutely ludicrous. So this really puts things in perspective, because while Luffy is immune to bullets, the rest of his crew is not. I mean, honestly, if you think about this, Van Auger could have single-handedly ended the series for the Straw Hats right here. So to re-emphasize my point, all I'm saying is I wouldn't sleep on Van Auger. He's definitely one of the best marksmen we've seen in the series, and an essential part of Blackbeard's crew. Of course, here we have another skilled sniper, Yassop. So Yassop is obviously very skilled. He's quite the marksman, and definitely capable of shooting from very far away distances. But as far as my evidence in the series, I don't have a lot to show you. I know that he carries that flintlock pistol, he's also used a rifle and a musket at different times, but honestly, as far as his action in the series, we haven't seen a lot. But obviously, it's very safe to assume he's extremely powerful in his own right. I mean, he's one of the leaders on Shanks' crew, and obviously Shanks being a Yonko, then it would be assumed that Yassop is very powerful as well. I figured I would bring this up, even though this is non-canon, so take it with a grain of salt, but it was stated in a filler episode that Yassop defeated Daddy Masterson, who was an extremely skilled sniper in his own right, so that gives him a little bit of credence as to what his abilities are. But we do have actually evidence of another kind. We've seen what Usopp can do in the series, and we all know Usopp is a god himself, so it's very fair to assume that Yassop, since he's the father of Usopp, would be just as gifted with observation haki as his son. But until we get any further evidence that is canon, I feel pretty confident saying he's one of the best snipers we've seen in the series. Now, we have another marksman for sure. He's the vice captain and the first mate of the Red Hair Pirates. Of course, I'm referring to Benckman. So, Benckman is a very interesting character. Oda states him as being one of the smartest characters in all of One Piece. We know he's from the North Blue originally, and I think he was one of the first people recruited by Shanks. As far as his feats are concerned in the series, these are very interesting, to say the least. Now, this is kind of crazy to actually say this, but we have not ever seen him fire a bullet in the series. His gun has never been fired. There has not been a damn round that has come out of that chamber. Honestly, maybe the guy's just a bit lazy and he doesn't like cleaning his gun. But regardless of this, the only time we see him use it, he uses his rifle like a damn club. So obviously still, being the vice captain of a Yonko's crew, I mean, he's definitely very powerful and quite the marksman. It honestly just sucks that we've never really been able to see him fire a gun before, but hey, whatever. So by far, his most notable feat is when he showed up at Marineford, and just his presence alone was enough for Kizaru to stop fighting for a moment. So this man, in one scene, got a Navy admiral to put his hands up, not in surrender, but out of respect for his sheer presence. I think that's enough evidence right there that Benckman is by far one of the best gun users we've ever seen in the One Piece series. And now we have somebody significantly less qualified to talk about. That, of course, being MrFive, or Gem of Baroque Works. I don't have much to say about him, except that he used a flintlock 44 caliber 6-shot revolver, and he had a lot of different devil fruit abilities that he could incorporate with his pistol. So one of his attacks was called invisible air bullets, and he could kind of just fire these rounds out faster than the eye could detect. Kind of like a regular bullet. All jokes aside, the guy was actually a pretty competent shot, and I would honestly love this pistol. It seems to be a model from the South Blue, and when it's fired, it's actually quite devastating to the opponent. So MrFive is actually a pretty underrated shot as far as marksmanship is concerned, and I hope that we get to see him again sometime in the series. Great, now we get to talk about the sexual predator and pervert, Absalom. Absalom, despite having a broken devil fruit, didn't put it to much use. However, he did have one pretty cool weapons technique worth noting. Absalom isn't very smart, but he did have a technique called Hands of the Dead. Using his invisibility fruit, the Sukesuku no Mi, he was able to hide bazookas underneath his arms and disguise them as if they weren't there. But as far as weapons use is concerned, that's it for Absalom. Let's not talk about him any longer. So here we get to see a pretty cool weapon called the Burn Bazooka, used by the Skypians. It packed a lot of power and was pretty devastating. Despite this weapon's devastating power, it wasn't of any use against Enel, and we haven't seen it in the series since Skypiea. Another extremely interesting weapon that the Skypians utilize is a small arms pistol called the Flash Gun. Whenever you fire it, the weapon projects a very bright light, blinding the opponents, and that way they can't see the incoming bullets. And while normal people like you and I obviously wouldn't be able to see bullets moving anyway, I think this would really affect the observation haki users and probably blind them. This weapon kinda has a similar effect to the solar flare used in Dragon Ball, which I find very interesting. Despite its lack of representation in the series now, for what it was in Skypiea, I really enjoyed these weapons, and I hope to see them again sometime in the series. Okay guys, there are so many damn guns in One Piece, and I've compiled a lot of them, but I can't go over every single firearm in One Piece, so this is going to be a rapid round of information. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, of course, we have very heavy artillery, like the Mark 38. We have 7-shot cannon guns. There are various handguns and small arms. There are damn gold-plated guns, just as a flex. There are finger pistols, there are derringers, there's even concealed music guns. There are crazy harpoon guns. There are massive rocket launchers. We have freaking Gatling guns, double-barrel pistols. There are percussion revolvers. There are arm guns. There are even dog guns. Don't ask me how that works. I shit you not, there is literally an alpaca gun that is non-canon, named Alpacasino. There are damn guns in your hair that in reality would blow out your eardrums. There is literally a cannon with a lady torso smoking a freaking cigarette. There are frog guns. Yes, those are words that actually came out of my mouth. Damn it, everybody gets a gun. Except Yassop, he gets a chalkboard. So in closing, if you couldn't tell, there are a lot of guns in One Piece. When you think of One Piece, guns are certainly not the first thing that come to mind, but some of the weakest to the strongest characters all carry guns, so they're very prevalent in the series. So I think it's kind of obvious. I mean, even if the Yonko are carrying guns, it obviously shows that they are quite powerful to some degree, and we've definitely seen a wide variety of good marksmanship throughout the series. It's obvious that guns are kind of overshadowed by all of the haki use, the devil fruit abilities, and the weird powers seen in this show, but honestly, I do think they're pretty important in their own right. But as always, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate you. If you made it to the end of the video, it means a great deal to me for supporting the channel. If you feel like it, maybe subscribe, hit the like button, or share it. As always, my name is Shane, this is Nessie's Animator, and thank you for watching.